Hi, my name is Kevin Ye. I'm the country chair of MDRT South Africa. I'm interviewing 40 financial advisors from South Africa who are MDRT members as they share their life story, their experience, and their tips on personal finance. So today I'm so happy to have Florah MULONDO to be on the program, and as she shares about her experience and we get to know about her story. Florah, I really appreciate that on this Friday afternoon you join us, as I understood that you just quickly had to fetch your child, and so as a working mom, I really take my hat off to you. Like people say that the women can multitask. I struggle with multitask. I can only do one thing at a time. All right, so Florah MULONDO, she's a financial advisor from Liberty, and welcome to this episode.
No, thank you so much, Kevin. Thank you for the invite. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, Florah, I'd like to first get to know about you, and if you can tell us more about who you are. But first of all, I'd like to go into your name. Your name is, just help me pronounce it, THIFHULUFHELI. Is that right?
Yes, a lot of...
Yeah, if you can just explain, pronounce for us, and does your name mean anything?
Yes, a lot of people struggle with that because on my ID, that's the first name that comes up. So even at Liberty, the profile, that names comes up first. So people kind of like, huh? So it's called THIFHULUFHELI. So it's the one with hope. So that's basically what the meaning is. Yes. So it's a very powerful name, but it's just too long, to work with. A lot of people don't get it, or so they just use my second name just for business ease of doing business basically. But it's a very powerful name with a very important meaning, I think.
And what language is that?
That's Venda.
Okay, and your surname? MULONDO, does it mean anything?
Yes.
Yeah.
MULONDO, they say it means that somewhere where where you used to mine salt. That is really what the meaning is from what I was told by my grandparents. Yes.
Okay, so where you from?
I come from a small town in Musina, so the very first town, bordering Zimbabwe. So that's where I grew up. I did my schooling there, primary school, high school. So the real experience out of there, that's when I passed my matric. That's when I moved up to Gauteng. But all my life up until matric, I was by this small town. At that point, I was growing up. It was more like a mining town. So they mined copper at that time, but at a later stage, then the mine closed down. So there was not really that much other activities that was there. So the mine was really the main activity of that small town at that time.
Where did you study after high school? Do you come up to study in Joburg?
Yeah, so after that, I came to Vets. So initially, what I wanted to do pharmacy, B-Pharm, because I was really more into the medical space. And then eventually I ended up doing nursing because I didn't have enough grades. I think it was on my maths that I didn't get a higher symbol to get to B-Pharm. So I eventually ended up doing nursing. But I think it was also a blessing in disguise because obviously at that time, my parents were not really, well positioned financially, so they didn't really have enough money to pay for me. So with the nursing, I was able to can also work part-time during the school holidays, in a hospital to help out while we are practicing and training, and we got paid for it. So that was really a blessing in disguise. And then I also got a scholarship through the Kellogg Foundation in the US, where they paid for my 4-year degree. So I didn't really have to spend a cent for my education. So it was really a blessing, the fact that I eventually did nursing, and I also had this part-time work that I could do. So I was immediately, independent. I was able to have some pocket money as well. I didn't have to depend on my parents for anything. So then from there, And then moved on. I didn't really work much. When I did my nursing, I only worked for a year at the hospital. So I work at the Johannesburg Gen, the one that banned recently.
Oh,
so but then it was still new. It was very new at that time. It was in the 90s. It was one of the state-of-the-art hospital at that time. We were very excited to be working there, and we're also staying at the residential area there for nurses and doctors in the quarters there. So it was really a great experience, but unfortunately it was short-lived. I only worked there for 12 months, budget-wise, the money was not enough. And then I moved on to the financial services industry, my first job outside of nursing, yes.
You didn't really practice as a nurse?
Yes, I did only for 12 months.
What attracted you to the financial services industry?
I think really it was more about, somebody kind of said to me, you can make a bit more money. I think at that time, they wanted people in the health space, in a medical space. So that company at that time, it was linked to, the administrator of Bonitas now, Med Scheme. Yeah. So it was a subsidiary of Med Scheme. So that's how I got into that with my nursing experience. Okay. So then that was my gateway into financial services. So it was more on the health side that I went in. And then from there, I then moved into Momentum. And then I was then in the full space in the insurance sector, yes.
All right. Okay. So how did you become a financial advisor?
Sure. Yeah, my journey of financial advisor is quite interesting because when I worked at Momentum at that time, I was really on the administrative space. So I got to know about advisors, people like Derek Dingwall. I knew about him because he was the biggest producer at that time. Yeah. So everybody knew who he was, at Momentum. So, but I was more on the support side. Yeah. I started in their call center at that time. So he used to call, or his office will call, so that's how I got to know about advisors. And then from there, I went into Rand Merchant Bank. That's when I got to meet a lady that told me about the CFP qualification. Okay. So she was doing it at that time, and she was my manager. And she kind of like say, you know what, this is really something that can really take you to the next level in the industry. So maybe you must try it. Yeah. And then I was just, motivated to do it. At that time, I was not an advisor. Okay. And then after qualifying, then I thought, you know what, I've got this qualification now. Why don't I just, put it to practice? Yeah. And then that's when I then looked around. I think at that time, I did it through the University of the Free State. Mm-hmm. My CFP, Mr. Botha, I think one of the lecturers there that helps us a lot in terms of preparing for a CFP. I was kind of like asking to say that which company do you think will be best fit? Because I'm not experienced in the space, in the financial planning. I come from the support administrative role. Which company do you think will work best for me just to take me by the hand? And they kind of like, yeah, maybe Sanlam, maybe try Liberty. Okay. And then that's how I got in. And I took my CV in a day. Somebody phoned me, and then voila, there I was. Okay. I was an advisor.
All right. Okay. And when was that?
Yeah.
How many years ago?
Sure. That was in 2013. Yeah. Okay. So it was towards the end of 2012. That's when I went for my interviews, and then in 2013 January, then I started as an advisor. Yeah. What was nice about it then is that they will give you, I think it was a month's training, so you had to, 30 days to get everything in, suck everything in, learn as much as you can about the products. Everything, learn how to sell, learn everything in 30 days. Oh. And then after that, they unleash you to the market and say, there you go, just do it.
I like your word, unleash. So you have enjoyed it so far?
Yes, no, absolutely. It's one of those things that, you don't realize the independence that is actually given. Initially, it was quite scary because I was used to, I had a salary. I was not really getting a best salary at the time. So for you to migrate into this thing where, yes, you can get high income, but sometimes it might not be great. Just the uncertain stability of income was a bit of a scary thing initially. Yeah. But I think, I will not trade it for anything because it just gives you the freedom to be able to can do certain things. Yes, you still work hard, but you are able to can navigate certain things that are important to you in between your working life. So you can plan your life better, you can plan your day better, you can plan your holidays better. So I think it's really, for me, it's about the quality of life. Basically, that's why I feel it was the right call for me to do. And also to see your kids grow rather than, chasing career and you kind of forget about everybody else in your family.
Yeah.
So that was for me, it was an interesting journey.
Okay, so you're married with kids?
Yes, I've got 2 kids. So my kids, always, one is just started high school, is 13, and the other one, she's 10. So they're quite young.
Yeah.
So obviously we still got a journey to go with them. That's why I need to pick up and all those things with COVID. So before COVID, I used to just drop them in the morning, and in the afternoon, they will just find their way home with transport. But I think since COVID, I was kind of like, you know what, let's just mitigate the risk. Let me rather fetch you also.
No, sure.
Oh, yeah.
What are your target markets? What kind of clients do you look for?
That was a very interesting question, because when I started in the industry, there was no time to think of a target market. Any person that breathed was a client.
Yeah, so, zero, yeah.
That's it. Forget about target market. Anybody's. Yes. So initially, that is what, that's how you get trained. You just know this is just the way it is. Just anybody. You just go with it. Anybody wants to do the business that you're in, that becomes your client. But as the business starts to get bigger and grow, then you start saying, maybe I can segregate my clients into different categories. Then you can then say, what, maybe these are the kind of people I'm looking at, the affluent, the high income earners, or the middle income earners, or, so you then start, maybe segregating the clients into different brackets. But initially, there was no time to think about, which target market it is. So right now, I will say it's more, for me, it's more professional people that I'm looking at. So it doesn't matter which industry they are in. They can be just professional in whatever way. Even that you can be a professional, assistant, personal assistant. For me, that is a potential client, because they've got something, I feel they're professional in whatever industry that they're in. So I don't categorize that I'm just looking for doctors or attorneys or, yes.
All right. What's your secret for looking for clients? How do you go about it? Do you from the word of mouth and asking clients for referrals, or do you actually cold calling, maybe walking to somewhere?
Yes. Initially, cold calling, I always say, anybody who will say they've never cold called before, I wouldn't believe them. Because initially, as you're starting to build your book, that is really one of the options that is there. You've run out of your friends and family. The next best thing is to cold call to try and build your book. So, but as now, I don't necessarily do any of that. I can use other mediums, like, for example, I do a lot of campaigns to my client book. Once your book is bigger, then you've got a network of people that either they've done business with you, or some didn't even done business with you before. So I use that group of clientele as a marketing strategy. If there's campaigns, for example, in this month, I'm doing a campaign for Wales. And then the response that I get from there, people will also forward it to their friends, cousins, or sisters. So to be able to can say, my advisor is doing this, so maybe you can also speak to you about this. So I get a lot of referrals from doing those kind of campaigns. Newsletters that I do also, it's like newsletter email template, which you can draft it professionally. You can put your photo on there. You can put your logo on there. Communicate something to a client, and then you get amazed at the kind of response that you get from there. Somebody will respond on an email that I've sent on Wheels maybe 3 months ago, but they will be now wanting to do business now. So you can see that was the email that they've kept 3 months ago, that I was communicating something different, but now they are ready to do business. So that is really how I get my business. I don't necessarily need to cold call at this stage. My existing clients give me a lot of referrals. I also use on Liberty, they call Google My Business. So a lot of people also find me through the internet. Then they connect with me from there. So that way I get my business from there, yes.
How many clients do you look after at the moment?
Currently, if you look at it's shocking actually. It's about 890 total clients. It's a hell of a lot.
You certainly have your finger on the pulse. You know exactly how many clients you look after. But
it's terrible.
That's quite a challenge, do you have an assistant to help you, like, because if you have so many clients I would imagine at any point in time, there will be people reaching out to you with queries or claims and things like that. How do you cope with the queries that may come in? Do you have an assistant?
Yes. I used to have an assistant, and then my assistant was a nurse also, because remember I just told you I come from the nursing background. Yeah. So she was a nurse that didn't have a job. Okay. And then when she reached out to me, I just said, you know what, come and help me. She has been with me for over 3 years. Right. So when COVID hit, then the government opened up position for nurses. Then they recruited her into the nursing space. Yeah. So at the moment, I don't have an assistant, but she will assist me from time to time on weekends to help me, because she knows what I want, and then to sort out my files and things like that. But, having said that, I think it was a good opportunity for her to then find something else. But I'm struggling at the moment to kind of keep my finger on the pulse, because she was really a very good assistant. So I'm looking for someone along the lines of her capabilities to can jump in. But at the moment, I don't have anybody. For a book like that to be managed properly, for me, not spending a lot of time dealing with admin, you definitely need a full-time assistant who can sort out all these things. Yes.
Okay, absolutely. There we go. To all the viewers out there, there is a successful financial advisor who is looking for an assistant, and she can choose the person. So please, if you are interested, please submit your CV. All right. So,
thank you, Kevin.
From so many clients you have served over the years, can you share with us a story of a client that has stuck with you over the years?
Yes, I think, my one big story of my first death claim, I will never forget it. Because I think when you start in this industry, you don't always foresee, that happening. We go out and we write life insurance, and then, all of this. I wasn't personally prepared for what happens when then my client that I've dealt with has now passed on. So it happened, this client was retiring. He was like 63. So he decided to take early retirement, and I assisted him with a life annuity. And so I showed him both options of a living annuity and a life annuity. I explained the two. The life annuity at that time, I gave him a 10-year as well as a 20-year guarantee, so that he can see the difference in price. Yeah. And then, and then eventually decided, I don't want to take a risk on a flexible annuity. So he decided on the life annuity with the guaranteed term, which was good. Unfortunately, a month after that, when you've signed everything, the policy had already got one premium, one income amount paid. Then he was still finishing off at his company. He went overseas. He went to China. They were doing some, his company was like a subsidiary of a company in China, if I remember the story correctly. So he went there, they were on a business trip, and then something happened there. Then he got very ill, and then he never came back. So then I was really saddened just to hear that, I've met this person about a month ago, and then now all of a sudden this person has now passed on. But the beauty about this was that the wife then, took over that income. As we speak today, she's still earning that income out of the, being a beneficiary of that policy because it had a guarantee. So that was really, for me, it just showed me the power of the products that we sell. That you don't always realize it until it actually happens. The same with a death claim, because you sign the person now, and then when you now have to deal with the actual claim itself, it just shows you the power of what a life insurance policy can do.
It's a beautiful story of how a financial service product can help our clients. Now let's turn to MDRT. So how do you get to know about MDRT?
I was fortunate. I was in the same team with Mukadi Matsimela. As you know, he was an MDRT chair for a few years before. So I got to know him. He was there, for my first month after being recruited in 2013. He was one of the people I saw in the building. So then he kind of introduced me to it. At that time, it was like very fuzzy. I didn't understand what it was. I was not even earning much. I was still trying to find my feet. So at that point, it didn't make any sense to say that I can't be earning this kind of money. It's like, no, I can't do this. So then 2 years or so down the line, then Mokadi's daughter also joined the company because I knew her from my time at Momentum. So she also joined the industry. Yeah. We worked together. And then at that time, I felt a little bit more comfortable. Then he reintroduced the MDRT pitch again. It was in one of our team meetings. Yeah. So he then made a presentation to the whole of the regional advisors at that time. Okay. So he kind of like, I was like, okay, now let me go and ask him a little bit more. And then when we spoke, I kind of like, you know what, actually we can register you now. He sat down with me, we registered everything, and off I go. I was going to Miami. So that's just how it all it went so quickly.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, so that was Mukadi that introduced me, yes.
Oh, I remember I had a dinner with him once to get to know more about him. What has been your involvement with MDRT?
Yes. So initially in my first year when we went to Miami, obviously for me, I didn't really know much at that time. I just know a little bit about it. And then, you know, what was interesting was to see the flag bearers, the country, you know, flags and everything. The whole thing was just for me mind-blowing. So then I got involved as one of the committee members for the Pretoria region. You know, to assist with the recruitment, you know, in the Pretoria region, communicate with the teams. So what I then did was with our team meetings before the COVID hit. So I was able to when we have our team meetings, to just request a slot from the team manager or the regional manager just to talk to the team about MDRT. And I will use one of the president's messages or president's videos to then share with the people about MDRT. So that's what I've been doing in the Pretoria area.
Oh, that's brilliant. Thank you for your contribution. So what does MDRT mean to you?
I think for me, it's really about, you know, if somebody wants to be serious about this industry, and then it's really, you know, for me, I feel it just makes you a global citizen. So if you want to be a global financial advisor representing SA as a country, but you want to be amongst the best of the best in the world, you can, you know, you can be on that level with the best in the world, but you are here representing South Africa with this prestigious institution that reaches, you know, many countries around the world. So I just felt, you know, I want to be part. I want to be a global citizen. I don't want just to limit myself to the local thing. You need to see what is happening out there. I mean, the whole conference that happened the last time just opened my eyes on what is possible out there, what other people are doing, the tips that we get from people around the world that are just willing to share with you. You can, you know, mentorship, you can have a, you know, there is so much out there, you know, so it just opens your mind to see that there's more to this industry. That is bigger than just SA, it's bigger than just me in my little corner in Liberty. It's a global thing, and it's happening, and it's empowering advisors, empowering clients all over the world. And you can learn a lot from anybody that you can reach out to across the world.
Thanks for sharing that. One sensitive question I'd like to ask you. Does Liberty pay for your annual fees, or do you pay your annual fees?
Yeah, so yeah, that is now another $1 million question. Yeah, we wish, you know, so what Liberty does, they assist you if you want to go on the overseas trip. Yeah. So they will then pay you, you know, you this money up front so that you are able to can book your flights and everything, but you still need to pay it back in installments. Over time. So it does, but they don't pay for our fees. So you still need to pay for your own fees with this money that they give you in advance, but at least you've got the opportunity to can go overseas and be able to can engage, you know, so it helps, you know, if you don't have that advance with you, then they're able to can assist you with that.
So in terms of like annual membership fee, which you pay like around February, March, So
that one you have to pay yourself, yes.
Yeah, okay. So you are a committed member, definitely. What has been your biggest life challenge? How did you overcome it or go through it?
Sure. Yeah, I think, the biggest life challenge for me was this whole lockdown situation that happened last year. I think for me, that is the latest that is so fresh in my mind. Because before that, really, the way we drove production, it was really revolving around you running around and chasing, paper, basically. And then this thing, COVID hits, and then we have to now find new ways in overnight as to how to do things differently. Overnight. Yeah, the lights came off. But I think, in a good way as well, because for me, with the learnings that I've been getting from MDRT, I was able to can quickly say, you know what, there are people who have transitioned years ago, who have already gone virtually. They've got clients across 50 states. So it's not to say that it's undoable. Other people are already doing it. In the US, you can't fly around 50 states, but there are advisors who've got their business running virtually since then. So I need to, as soon as possible, set myself up where I'm able to can do online, interaction with clients, online transaction, online signature, online everything, and in no time I was able to do that. And up until now, I can bet you there's still people in our circles that are still struggling to get this one because they still want to run around and go. I was like, but why? Why are you still feeling the need to be doing that? Because if you embrace technology, if I send an electronic signature now, I get it in the next 2 minutes before I even get to my car to start it. The signature is already back with me. So it was for me, how quickly can I change my mind to be able to can embrace technology and be able to can, see what other people have already done, what other people are already doing to embrace technology and being successful at it, and not spending valuable time driving around in traffic and not, basically you're going around in circles and not getting anywhere. I find that, this lockdown situation has actually helped me to work more efficiently, saves a lot of time, and I can still be able to can pick up the kids. Before I was not even able to do that, but I'm still actually get more done because I'm not driving around all day.
So right now, would you say what percentage of clients you need to see physically, and then what's the percentage that you actually just do everything online by the telephone and WhatsApp?
At this stage, I've not seen a single person physically since last year, March, when the COVID hit.
Okay.
But the future is, there is a possibility that I may still have a small portion that I can still need to see physically.
Okay.
Right now, everything I do, online meeting, virtually, WhatsApp, I WhatsApp you a quote, I send it to you, you can see it on screen, you can see my planning on screen. So I've not seen one person since the lockdown, but yes, I know there are a few people that are maybe elderly, they're not able to can do this Zoom thing, that are not able to can sign it. When the pin comes, they don't know what to do with it. So yes, we do have a few of those that will be a blend. I think the future for me will be a blend where some portion will still be physical, but the majority of them will definitely be online, because some of them, what I also realized is some have actually preferred more because it saves them time also. They don't have to commit to a full hour. We can maybe finish it in a shorter space because they can see everything that I'm doing to plan for them. I don't have to prepare it offsite and then come back now to try and explain to you. You can see it while I'm doing it with you. So that way it saves a lot of time, and the clients actually understand what they are planning for. So it's actually, I find it being a win-win for both me and the client.
I'm glad you adapted so well. And also that generally the COVID has helped change or transform the way we do business. This is my first quick fire question. Are you a sports person, a gardening person, or an outdoor person?
No, COVID made us all indoors. Well, you know what, the sporting, I really try, just walk around the block, that kind of thing. But I'm not really like running marathons and things like that. No.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
so I'm more like go for a walk, do some weights a little bit outside. I've got a step, thing that I can step on at the back, in my garden. So I kind of, made my own gym at home kind of things. So, but I don't do like hectic marathons and things like those.
Okay, no, good to know about you.
Yeah.
If there's one personal financial advice or life lesson you would like to share with the viewers, what is it?
Yeah, I think for me, the life lesson is to say, you must just be authentic in this industry. There's a lot of people that maybe sometimes get into this space for the wrong reason. You want to make a quick buck. This is not the industry. This is not a fly-by-night industry. It's an industry that you must be in it for the long haul. And then the money will definitely come. So, and then someone must really be passionate about, be of service to your clients. Because yes, the client of today is quite dynamic. They can go online to see who else can assist me. They don't necessarily have to, to come to you for things. So we need to be able to adapt with time. But for me, it's really about to be authentic to the client and, to be able to say, this is what I'm going to do by when, and, stick with it. Yeah. So for me, I just find it works for me. And then also the issue around, building trust with the client. They know what they get from me. Be upfront with the clients, at all times. Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay. No, that's authenticity. Yeah. Then 3 more quick fire questions. Okay. So the first one, cat or dog? Are you a cat?
Oh, neither. None of them. I will tell you a story about my girl. She kind of like, she wrote it on the door. They said, can I have a dog? I was like, no. Because I was just so scared of dogs growing up, because we never had dogs at home. Okay. So as I was a kid, doing grade 1, I was 6 years old. So I used to walk myself to school. And then on the way, there was a dog that came from one of their houses, on my way to school. And I was like, no, I'm just going back home. I'm not going back there. So then my mom always had to now take me to school, because now that dog there, because, I was just scared he's going to bite me or something. So since then, I was never a dog person. And then the cat is just the fur. I was like, no. And the eyes, no. Okay, all right. No, I also don't have pets in my house, even though my sons, they would like to have a dog, but I asked them, who is going to take care of the dog? No, I can't deal with that mess also. I also can't deal with that mess. It's like, no. Okay, what's your favorite drink? This ginger ale that you get at Woolworths. Yes. Yes, that is really the drink that I like. Ginger beer, ginger ale. Yes, ginger beer, ginger ale. It's quite spicy, hot. Yeah. Yes, I like that spicy, and it's not too intense. It's kind of calm in the mouth also. So that is really my drink. It's not too bubbly and too So that is really my favorite drink. Okay, so we can say you are a Woolworth person. The other stuff are quite expensive, but that one I really enjoy. Okay. I'd like you to convey a message to all the women financial advisors out there. There are many successful women financial advisors in South Africa and around the world. Why should they join MDRT like you? Yes, I think I would like to call on all the women to be part of this organization, because this whole person concept, for me, it speaks to me the most, especially for women, because we've got all these pinpoints that we need to reach every day as we navigate through life of being a mom, spouse, and all of those things. So the whole person concept for me really speaks to me, to be able to find yourself, find your balance, in between all of this, being, first you being a professional person, being an advisor for many people, and be a parent, and be a mom, and be, a school teacher, all of those things, doing homework, doing all of this, the whole person concept assists me in the $1 Million Roundtable to be able to can connect to other women who are most probably in the same position as I am, and how do they actually get around it and to be able to succeed and be, good in what they do, and also be a mom, and also be all of those things as well. So it's really, for me, something to help you to find your balance, and also be able to can say, even when you're a woman, you can still be able to can compete with the men in the space, even when you've got all these additional things that we had to do. Actually, the last month, I sent a survey, I don't know whether you've seen it, Kevin, about the women time that they spend doing things that are not paid for. For example, helping kids with homework, helping your mom who's sick, you become a nurse, you become a teacher, you become this, you become this. And then if you work it out, it can actually give you a rent value of what it is. So I sent it to all my lady clients, and then they were shocked to say that I need to ask my husband to give me $40,000 a month for doing all these things. It actually gives you into a rent value as to all the hours that you are spending. So it was really fun. But having said that, it's also just to show that women, with all of these things that we have to do additional to, some of it is not being paid for, but we can also still be able to be successful in the space. But it's important to have the balance, work-life balance, and be a whole person, because you still need to be able to live your life at the end of the day.
Wow, thank you. Powerful and beautiful message. Thanks, Florah, for the time we spent together. And thanks for sharing your story and your experience. Let's give it up to Florah. Until next time. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye, Kevin.
Thanks for watching. Thumbs up if you like this episode, and share it with your friends.